Anna Shaw, teacher, minister, doctor, and suffragist leader, was passionately tenacious in her short but fulfilled life. Beginning with a childhood of tribulation, Anna's father's absence, her mother's nervous breakdown, and her eldest brother's illness forced a 12-year-old Anna to undertake the tasks of clearing the land, planting crops, finishing the poor cabin, and caring for the family. Anna began supporting her family at a young age by becoming a teacher. As she matured, she developed an interest in preaching at the Methodist Protestant Church. Anna was first denied due to gender, but eventually she was accepted to be the first female minister. Later, Anna earned her medical degree at Boston University, being the only woman to graduate in her class. After, she became president of the National Women's Suffrage Association, which pushed for suffrage at the state level, believing that state-by-state support would eventually force the federal government to pass the amendment. Anna later gave a speech in New York.
Woman suffragist Anna Shaw, in her speech The Fundamental Principles of a Republic, declares the faults in the representation of a republic due to the failure to perceive women as capable human beings. Shaw's purpose is to draw attention to repairing the republic by including the population as a whole. A witty tone is developed throughout her lecture to the equal suffrage campaign attendants.
To begin, contradictions over the 19th Amendment decided who could vote to represent the democracy. The word used settled at male, which includes black and white, rich and poor, wise and otherwise, drunk and sober, not a man left out to be put in. The parallel structure of this isocolon traps the reader in the reality that every male is visible. However, that is only half of the population.
Furthermore, Shaw voices the importance of women to stand alongside men with the allusion to the Bible stating, "And God said at the beginning, it is not good for man to stand alone. That is why we are here tonight, and that is all that women's suffrage means. Just to repeat again and again the first declaration of the divine, it is not good for man to stand alone." The religious viewpoint on equality between men and women signifies the argument with credible support.
Moving through the text, Anna takes time to execute an extended metaphor comparing the voices of the written democracy to those of a choir. The orator forgets that in the people's voice there is a soprano as well as a bass. If the voice of the people is the voice of God, how are we ever going to know what God's voice is when we are content to listen to the bass solo? Now, if it is true that the voice of the people is the voice of God, we will never know what the deity's voice of the government is until the bass and soprano are mingled together, the result of which is a divine harmony. Shaw's purpose in comparing the two is to explain how men and women should unite to create a balance in the republic government. They can function as one to achieve representation of the entire population.
Moreover, Shaw argues against anti-suffragist leaders by exploiting their use of a slippery slope fallacy. Anna states, the young lady proved by statistics the awful results which happened where women did have the ballot, what awful laws have been brought about by women's vote, the conditions that prevail in the homes, and how deeply women get in politics. Her satirical tone ridicules this slippery slope logic. With the use of a hyperbole, Shaw points out that there is no evident harm to avoiding women to vote.
Finally, in accordance to the tensions in World War I, women were seen to be ignorant of the tragedies of serving. Anna uses pathos to contradict this concept. Anna writes about a mother and her son who was sent into the war. "Oh, how wonderful he is, and he is hers. She gave her life for him, and in an hour this country calls him out, and in an hour he lies dead. That wonderful, wonderful thing lies dead. And sitting by his side, that mother looking to the dark years to come knows that when her son died, her life's hope died with him. And in face of that wretched motherhood, what man dare ask what a woman knows of war?" This use of pathos depicts how women feel and how they are truly suffering. Shaw wants her audience to realize the association women have with war without fighting on the frontier.
Anna Shaw presented this speech to the New York State Equal Suffrage Campaign to outline the need for equality among men and women to truly create a republic that is representing all aspects of the nation. She targets the significance of women standing by men through sarcasm and faults of other viewpoints. Women amount to more than what others see, and once they open the eyes of men in this time period, women can move forward in their fight for their rights.
Created using Powtoon.